welcome to Transcendence Wellness Center. I am Jessica Alstrom, and Susie and I own Transcendence Wellness Centers and Transcendence Wellness Centers International. And what our wellness centers are is basically the center for traumatic healing. And what we do is we inspire you to raise your own awareness and your own consciousness. And the best way for us to learn who we are is to look at ourselves in the mirror. And so that's what we do, is we teach you in a very integrated process here at Transcendence how to see your world as a mirror, how to see everyone around you as a mirror, and how to see everything that's occurring in your life as your teacher. And so today I wanted to take you guys on a very special Second Sunday journey with me as we dive into basically the second half of our new world. Now, what does that mean, our new world? The planet is shifting. And since the beginning of time, there has basically been two opposing situations, two opposing emotions, fear and love. And as we move forward as a collective species, we are always on that threshold, that leading edge to choose. Down to what's happening right now on our planet and in our culture and in our politics, you always have two choices. How are you looking at what's going on right now on the planet? Are you looking at it through love, or are you seeing through the eyes of fear? Because that's what you're being asked to do. Your entire life has been based on how well you trust yourself. Every choice you make on a daily basis at the end is based in how much do I trust myself? Are you living your joy? Are you living your bliss? Are you moving forward? Because technically, at this point in time, you should be moving forward with intense speed. Because everything is set in place for you to do so. Everything is set and lined up energetically. Vibration and frequency is at an all-time high on our planet, which means that you have access to not only the magical kingdom we call heaven, but to all of the universal mind and the quantum field, which is just basically like picking low fruit at this point. You don't have to go very high to find love. So the question is, what are you choosing to look at? What are you choosing to see? What are you choosing to do within your own family dynamics that create more expansion of love for yourself? Are you letting go of old systems that no longer serve you? Are you letting go of your past characters that you've grown out of? Are you letting go of the stories of trauma that are hidden down deep into your biological cell bodies? And if the answer is yes, I'm sure right now your life is feeling pretty amazing. And if you're not doing that, then you're probably still feeling like you're constantly at that crossroads. Last month I took you through a journey of healing to go back in time and find out when you lost your intuition, and to go to that fork in the road and basically recollect yourself. Remember yourself. You're not here to fear the planet, you're here to change it. You're not here to be part of the problem, you're here to be part of the change. And so at the end of the day, when you look at your neighbor, and when you look at the media, and when you look at your government, what are you choosing to see? Are you choosing to see that your greatest lessons in life came through pain and suffering? Would we not all admit to that? That the greatest things that have helped awaken us in our life has been pain? Why should we look at anything that's happening in the world as anything less? People are being killed all around the world, and you know the only difference in what that actually looks like is that fear has always been on this planet. You know what's different about now? Is because everyone has a camera. Everyone has a camera to actually capture what's going on this planet now. And what that does is it brings awareness to the stay-at-home mom that has no idea what's going on in the rainforest. It brings awareness to ourselves about what's really going on in the secret societies. Because with this collective movement towards love, there is nothing that isn't shown. But your job is to look at the internet and the stories of the world that you can now tap into in 3 seconds doing your Google searches. and saying, wow, look at all that's going on. I see love in that. I see a powerful lesson that our country is learning right now. Just like I had to learn my lesson in my last relationship. What's different? Collectively, we are breaking down so we can build back up. In this room right now, raise your hand if you would call yourself a light worker. All of you need to raise your hand. Because the truth of it is you wouldn't even be able to hear the voice that's coming out of this body if you weren't a light worker. Now, what is a light worker? It's someone who has come around to basically emanate the frequency of love throughout their body. That means your only job is to love your kids and love pets and love nature and love each other, and you're doing your soul's work. You don't have to open up a wellness center or go on the front line and protest to be a light worker. You only need to look at something and send love forth from it to become a light worker, which you've always been since the beginning of time. The planet needed to be seeded with light, because if it didn't become seeded with light, then we wouldn't know what light was, because this planet has been in the dark for a really long time. At the threshold of this planet 5,000 years ago, fear was the frequency. Today, about 54% of this planet vibrates love. Did you know that? We are at the tipping point. We've already won. So now your job is to realize that you've won. Look at the things that you still are judging about your life. What are the things that you're looking at right now in your life that you're still judging, that you're still afraid of? Now shift perspective with me for just a minute and look about all the things that you do love about your life. You probably have 80 to 90% of things in your life right now that you love. And there might be 5 to 10% of things that you really still need to adjust. Yet, as a collective, we choose to look at that 5 and 10%, don't we? We look at what's broken in the house, not what's fixed. We look at the drama in the house, not where the love is. We look at the issues in the relationship, not where all of the amazing love is and gratitude for each other. And so, in order for us to wake up, collectively, our greatest lessons have come through struggle and pain. Think about your growing pains that you've had over the years. Something that's really shocked you awake has probably been painful, yes? Well, come July 4th to be exact, that was your soul's Independence Day. Which means right now you have the opportunity with this new moon to totally change the way you learn. Change the way that you remember. Because we don't need to learn through pain and struggle anymore because we've moved through that threshold. Guess how we get to learn next? Reward. We get to learn for the rest of this year what love is through reward. What love is through gratitude. What love is through helping and being of service for each other. We get to learn through reward now because we have done our soul's work. We are done suffering, aren't we? Who is here that's just done suffering? Right? Did you know it was always just a choice? Because at the end of the day, the child within you just seeks attention and love. And we know that when you're a child, you get greater attention when you're acting out, when you're in fear, when you're scared. Because when you're just being a loving little child, you don't get a lot of focus put on you. So you have learned through your life that to feel that feeling of bigness, it had to come from suffering. In order for you to find power within, you had to move through suffering. And now you get to move through power with reward, with love, with grace. And by raising your vibration to love or above, your only job is to follow joy, to follow your highest excitement, and to burn the bridge of who you were before you knew who you were. That means stop judging yourself for the mistakes that you've made when you were asleep. Stop beating yourself up for choices from the past. And choose to move forward and not give yourself the opportunity to look back this time. July is saying the past no longer exists for you. It's no longer a safe space that you can hide when you're afraid of the future. Because what I said initially was that every day you make your life's movement towards how well you trust yourselves. Are you following your dreams? Are you following your joy? And if you're not, it's because you don't trust yourself to follow your joy, because the last time you followed your joy, it didn't end well. But you're not that person anymore. And maybe you didn't get the energetic memo of July, but I'm telling you, that's why I'm transmitting today, is because the energetic memo of July is you're free. You are so free. But you're looking at yourself through the eyes of your old character. And therefore, the body doesn't feel free. Your circumstances don't feel free yet. But your soul is saying, you must follow joy to get your new coordinates. There's a lot of powerful help coming in July. Not just the energy of July, but the frequency that is in water right now. Water is your spirit guide this month. Being around water will help you remember who you are. Water is magic, it's intuition, it's guidance, it's spirit. So be around water this month when you're not sure of who you are, and you will quickly become reminded. Who's had the epiphany in the shower this month? Right? Soak in the bath. Be around bodies of water. Go swimming. Because this is going to remind you even deeper of who you are. And as soon as you let yourself let go, you will feel acceleration like you've never felt before. When you start eating a diet that energetically feels good to you, all of your intuition is going to come back. Because dense food dampens out light in the body. Light is information. And it's trying to move forward through your body to activate all of this DNA that's here to tell you that you are everything and all at the same time. You're becoming more telepathic. I can see everyone in this room has shifted since the last time I saw you as your ability to become more telepathic. Who's gotten strange calls this month after thinking of someone just for a minute? Okay? You can't think about something in 5D, and have it not manifest instantly. Unfortunately, that means fear as well. What you think about is going to start smacking you in your face so fast that you're not even going to be able to know that you were thinking about it. Because as the energy on the planet, manifestation is going to increase, which means you can't hold a vibration and not have it manifest very quickly, which means expansion. Which means for the very first time, you have endless, unlimited possibilities. But you can't focus on your outer world to feel your greatness. You have to go into your inner world to feel your greatness. Because your circumstances don't matter. Your circumstances are a byproduct of your old character's thinking. Who you are today is a byproduct of who you were in the past. So every moment is a time to shift into a greater awareness, and you can't do that by looking at your circumstances. You have to go into your inner world, and your inner world is your inner heart, your inner imagination, your inner visualization, and one thing that actually is on the outside of you that resembles your inner world is nature. And I don't mean the nature where there's hundreds of people. I mean, if you really want to connect to your soul and remember who you are, go spend some time in some unpeopled nature. And as the wind blows subtly, and as the trees move, and as the birds sing, and as the water flows, and as the grass grows, you will remember that you too are unlimited and abundant. But if you go into a crowded space where you're looking at everyone through their eyes at yourself back, you're going to feel small. You're going to feel all of their energy. And if we're all becoming telepathic, what are you hearing that you haven't heard before? Are you hearing more cries for help? And is that scaring you, thinking the world is a scary place? It's not. You're hearing more of the cries because you're on the planet to help change the world. You're supposed to hear the cries. You're supposed to be empathic. The ability to be empathic is to know what someone needs before they know what they need, so that you can be an assistance. You're here to be of service. And that means you're here to take care of the animal kingdom, you're here to take care of nature, you're here to take care of each other, and you're here to take care of yourself. And if you're not taking care of yourself, do you still believe that someone is actually going to take care of you? Because they really haven't shown up yet, have they? They haven't. But if you understand mirrors, everyone is constantly there to take care of you, to show you what you feel about yourself inside. Last month I talked about there was going to be two roads, and it was going to be expansion and it was going to be segregation. And if you look in the media is always telling you where the fear-based choices of collective consciousness reside. And it's going towards segregation. They're hitting our buttons in all of our fears of judgment. Okay? First it was our lovely gays, and now it's our wonderful colored people, right? It's all propaganda to get you to choose to be afraid. So in every moment, you have the opportunity to look through the eyes of the media and see loving change going down. Because what's happening is the planet is having a domino effect. We have to expose what's wrong in order to love it into wellness. We have to heal corruption through love. You can't be afraid of it. There's nothing worse than an indigo, a light worker, and an empath who is afraid of their planet. Nothing worse. Nothing feels more like hell to be afraid and have all of the light within you to just change the planet, and you're afraid of it. You're afraid of people. You're afraid of money. You're afraid of your body. That must feel like intense suffering. You know that this is just your cellular suit that you're wearing here so that you can play your part. We've gotten over our homesickness, we've gotten over our issues, and now it's time for you to actually get your coordinates and start to live your life's purpose. If I went around the room, I wonder who would actually have a mission statement for their own life. Who here has a mission statement for their own life? What is your mission? What's your mission?
To inspire others through my activity of love to raise their vibrations.
Beautiful. Did everybody hear that? That is what everyone in this room is here for. You know, your only job is to inspire change, to inspire love. And you know sometimes you play the bad guy to inspire love? Do you know sometimes that's been your job? Do you know leaving that relationship that's codependent is you inspiring change and love? Okay? So the changes that are happening right now are amazing. You are one decision away from a totally different life. That means if you're on the fence about moving, move. If you're on the fence about a relationship, get out of it. If you're on the fence about your job, quit. But then guess what? You gotta trust yourself, don't you? You gotta trust yourself that the universe is going to support you being you. And that's when your shadow is going to come up and test you to see if you really do believe in yourself. It's not believing in your spouse or your country or your job. It's believing in yourself. Because if you did believe in yourself, you would quit the job tomorrow, you would move from the house, and you would get rid of the relationships that are no longer serving you, And you would know that even if that created discomfort in the parties that you were leaving, that you were initiating change and giving birth for them to find their own heart within. Lightworkers, we've been very guilty of playing the light for everyone, haven't we? We've kept the light glowing in our friends and family's darkest hour. And in that process, we've given ourselves away. And we've become afraid because we look at their lives and we think that that is true. But we aren't on the same planet for those here who are here to awaken, are we? I want us to get rid of the word healer. And I want us to own the word teacher. Because you are not here to put your hands on someone else to help them see their soul. You're here to teach and inspire them and act as a mirror so they may see themselves through your eyes. So they can see their strength through the trust that you have to move forward in your life. By you taking action, you are inspiring someone else to take action. By you loving an animal unconditionally, you're teaching someone else how to do that that's not known how to do that before. Your example is what lights the way, not the things that you do to be a good person. Not the rescuing that you do for all of your friends and family. That actually gets you nowhere. So what bridges do you need to burn? Where do you need to move in your life to test your ability to trust yourself? What do you have to let go of that's keeping you on the fence between fear and love? Because these roads I was talking about last month, one is fear and one is love. So if I turned on the news right now and looked at what was happening in the world, I would see love. Someone else might see people dying, but I see change. I see people running to help each other. I see people becoming heroes that were scared yesterday. I see people finally moving into their heart space to mourn and feel gratitude for someone they took for granted yesterday. That's what I see. Now, if I look through fear, what I'm going to see is a planet that doesn't feel very safe. If every ache and pain told me to be afraid of my body, then I really wouldn't hear its messages. So when you look at your body, are you seeing fear or are you feeling love? Because if your body's in pain right now, it's telling you to look at me. Wake up. Wake up. I have a message for you. It's time to love me. It's time to listen to what I need, not what your ego needs. I need you to hear me so that we can move forward. You don't move forward without this vessel. Because you signed up in a co-creative agreement to take care of this body and to love this body. And together, you are going to be able to manifest anything that you choose with the right intentions. Because your body is the electromagnetic energy that brings form to you. You can't think your way into manifestation. You have to feel your way there. And the feelings are in the body, not in the etherical field. You've got to become one with this body in July. You've got to become one with yourself. And as we've done months and months and months and months of healing, what we are doing is we are integrating lost parts of ourselves that were lost in fear. And as we take our power back and we integrate love into the body, and we integrate love into our neighbors, and we integrate love into what we're seeing on TV, then what happens is 54% of the planet turns into 84% of the planet in 18 months. That's your window. That means in the next 20 years, this entire planet is enlightened. That's your mark, 20 years. What you do in the next 18 months is going to be the groundbreaking energy for the next 20 years. So that means every morning when you get up, how can I look at my day through love and not fear? Stop going to the places that you don't want to be. Stop supporting things that you don't love. At what point are you going to start living from your heart and let go of the things that you feel obligated to take care of? I said this before. One person living from their heart field affects 750,000 people around you just by sitting thinking about a cute puppy. Do you see how magical you are? So just because you're not standing here talking to a group does not mean that you're not an enlightened spiritual teacher. Because every time you sit and spend time in your heart, you are an ascended master. Every time you worry about something, then you are its counterpoint and you don't feel good. Because how your higher self communicates to you is through how you feel. I'm feeling good, which means I am in alignment with my soul's perspective. Or I'm feeling bad, which means I turn my back on myself. And sometimes to feel good, we have to let go of what we've been supporting, don't we? In order to really grow, we've got to let go. In order to get something in this universe, you have to give something. It's the energy of exchange. So what do you need to let go so that you can move forward? It's like imagine yourself, you're on a cliff, and you're holding on to your old life. And the weight of holding on to your old life is making you slip. What do? Because that's the energy of July. You're either going to hold on and you're going to go down with it, or you're going to let go and move on. Now, because this universe is set up in only love, it is not this or that. Because what happens is when you let go, your life expands, and everything you thought you wanted is actually right on the cliff standing behind you. Which means you actually help the people wake up that you're holding on to. You help the corporations go out of business when you say, I no longer support you. You help the planet shift even faster when you stop being so codependent on the comforts of your life. You know, I was talking to Amber yesterday, and she was talking about being in Italy and how much we have to choose from here in this country. We have so much choice. You walk into a grocery store and you're overwhelmed. And when you go in other places of the world, the choice is smaller, and yet people live more simply. Choice can be very overwhelming, can't it? Especially on the spiritual journey. Oh, which teacher do I listen to? Which book do I follow? What affirmation game do I play? Choice can be actually very distracting. All you have to do is say, I'm going to look at this situation that I've been having a really hard time understanding, and I'm going to see if I see it through love or do I see it through fear. And if the situation is because I don't trust myself to let go of this job, then that's your soul's work. But if you see, I love myself enough to let go of my job, and I know that I will be supported by the universe because I am here to change the world. I didn't come here to be poor. I didn't come here to be in a survival mode all the time. I came here to be abundant and teach others how to be abundant. That means going out and getting everything that you've ever wanted teaches someone else it's okay. That means helping a neighbor shows a child what helping a neighbor looks like. By rescuing an animal, it teaches people to stop abusing them. So my question for you is, what is it time for you to let go of in your life so that you can start moving ahead? And if your answer was like mine this morning when I did my meditation, it was to let go of not trusting myself 100%. I know what feels good. I know what's joyful to me. I know what expands my life. And yet there's areas where we spend time in contradiction and contraction and segregation and smallness because we don't want to let certain people and places and things go. We think that if we expand, we're going to leave that relationship behind, or we're going to leave that child behind, or we're going to leave that place behind. And the ego doesn't like that. The ego is afraid of expansion. It likes comfort, solitude, and suffering. Okay? It likes separation. It likes thinking that no one is there to help them. And as you let go and start trusting in the universe, you see that all you have to do is think your next thought, and put your foot one step forward and everything lines up for you. Which means you don't have to think about it until you take action. And you'll know exactly what to do because that's how your intuition is going to work. Not from sitting and playing affirmation games or intuitive workshops. It is from actually becoming who you say you are. Are you becoming who you say you want to be? Or are you saying, oh yeah, next year I'm really going to do this. Next year I'm going to quit that job. Next year I'll work on my vibration. Well, the trick is to accelerate, is to make sure that your vibration is as high as you humanly possible can have it. Meaning, how can I raise my vibration today? That means, who do I not need to spend time with? What do I not need to eat? I need to spend time in nature. I need to spend time on my dreams and goals. And I need to spend time with myself and the people who make me feel bigger and better. I need to find communities that make me feel like I'm unconditionally loved instead of spending time with family that makes me feel small and separate. At what point are you going to start choosing you? Because when you do, your life is going to be limitless. Because the DNA in your body is actually set up for you to be completely limitless. It's moving from carbon to crystalline. And crystalline is like a prism. Therefore, you can become anything that you choose through frequency and light. Which means you can change your genetics. You can heal that disease. You can find the people that you need to find in order to make your life feel complete. Did you know that the people that you're holding in your heart that you want to meet are also looking for you? Did you know your star family right now is actively looking for you? And your star family is other light workers, empaths, and indigos that are on the planet that are looking for you so that we can be stronger in numbers. It is no longer an individual game. It is not me, it's we. But ego can't be invited to this party because ego acts as a cancer to all of that. One toxic person can ruin an entire group. Look at our history. All good intentions. And at the core, there was some manipulation that spread like gossip and transcended it into a negative vibration. And there goes our history. And if you notice, every time we take 10 steps up forward with our personal vibration, then the media has to show us what's going wrong on the planet, don't they? And as we get closer to this election, I want you to examine the politics within. Look at your personal politics with yourself. Look at who you are around certain people. Do you change and morph to become what they need you to be? Do you become that chameleon in social situations? Or are you completely authentic? Because if you're changing and morphing to be fitting in or liked and admired in a certain group, then you are having a political war within. And therefore you're probably judging the political process right now. Because everything that you judge outside of you is a reflection of what is buried down deep going on within. Which means the war within is still going on if you're judging anything outside of you. If you're looking at war as anything else than a byproduct of what will be birthed within after, it's just love. If you're seeing it as fearful situations, then there is something going on within you where you're afraid of yourself. And I can guarantee you the key word for July is trust. Because at this point, you have the ability to trust in the unseen. Have faith in what you haven't experienced yet, and know that you will be divinely guided by your unseen friends and your own heart. They're always around you. And you will have lesson after lesson after lesson after lesson if you still choose to be scared of your own power. Every opportunity in July was to take your power back. July kind of being the month of Father's Day, a lot of abandonment issues were rising to the surface. And we were remembering friends and situations that had abandoned us, and we were working through that, and we took our power back. And in July, it's just a fast-moving river of, what do you choose? Do Do you choose to see this as an amazing planet, or do you choose to see this as a horror movie? Because you actually have the choice to do both. There isn't anything that you can't create. There isn't anything that you can't have. And there isn't anyone that you can't become. So as you think about what your mission statement is, think about what your purpose is. How do you want to spend the rest of your life? Who do you want to become? Because every interaction is just a way for us to become more and more and more of ourselves, which means those horrible relationships have just given birth to us to know ourselves more. Those people who couldn't love us the way we needed to be loved were just there to teach us that we were supposed to love ourselves. All of the pain and struggle has been our greatest teachers, and now let us learn through reward. Let us learn through the eyes of the unknown. The ego is so afraid of the unknown. It is so afraid of immortality because the soul is immortal. The body goes with the ego once you've transcended, and so it will manipulate you through your body. And so those urges and those cravings, it's time for your soul to step in and become a little bit more self-disciplined. And if you don't know what that looks like, study Bruce Lee. That's all he did, was he taught self-discipline through energy, frequency, and vibration. You have to be the captain of this ship. Otherwise, your body will crave dense food to keep you small and separate. When you begin to clean out your system, clean out your thoughts, get rid of limiting beliefs, you are going to feel bigger than the planet. You're going to feel walking around in your life as good as you do when you're in a meditation. I know that's what that feels like when I'm in higher self. Is I don't need to go into my inner world. I can walk in my outer world and feel the bigness of my higher self. But I have to be self-disciplined because circumstances are very intoxicating. And it is very easy for you to believe that what is happening outside of you is real. And it's not. The only thing that's real is what's happening inside of you. What's happening in nature. And you've got to make sure that you're seeing the mirrors of others as you're seeing yourself. Because everything that's going on right now politically would be actually a big joke if we all looked at it as a mirror. There's nothing wrong with the world. It just needs to be loved. So you need to leave today and ask yourself, how can I raise my personal vibration? What is my mission statement? What is my purpose in this now moment? And who am I becoming? Because your soul already knows who you are and is holding that frequency for you. It's not taking its eyes off the prize. It will not drop out of love. It's beckoning you through passion and excitement. It's saying, come with me. But you cannot know your purpose through fear. When you're in fear, you think that you're homesick. When you're in fear, you feel lost, and what's the point? You keep going to that crappy job every day because you have to. Instead of saying, you know what, it's time for me to let go, and I know that I'm going to be divinely supported, and I am going to work on my beliefs around trust right now. And I am going to meditate on trust right now. And I'm going to get rid of every single person who contradicts my dreams and goals that's in my life right now. And I don't mean, have a hitman come in. I mean, change your relationship. Change the dynamic of your relationship right now. Say, that no longer serves me to be so close to you. I can't be your counselor right now. I can't be your rescuer right now. I need to rescue myself, and then when I rescue myself, I'll see what I can do to help you. That's what I mean about changing those relationships. Because those are our special relationships. And special relationships get us into trouble when we put someone above ourselves. When we put anything above ourselves, we end up learning a very big lesson. Because the soul is saying, you're not here for that. You're going to change the world. which means that you need to be in the highest vibration and frequency that you can 51 to 85% of the time if you're really going to feel like you're on purpose here. Otherwise, you're going to feel so confused and you're going to feel like you're in hell on earth because, again, an empath who believes in fear is suffering. You don't even understand fear at the basis of who you are. You can't even be mad at the, excuse my French, assholes that have done you wrong. You can't. An empath can never be upset with anyone for very long. We can have thoughts about it, but we usually don't go there, do we? We always turn the other cheek. You know why? Because that is the frequency of Christ consciousness. It is unconditional love at the root of who you are. So you can't be that vindictive soul. Doesn't mean that in moments of your life where you were asleep, that you didn't act that part out. But as you've become whole, you can't go there anymore. Which means that it's time for you to let certain things and people and places and ideas and belief systems go. Burn the bridge so that ego can't go back when it's scared. Does this make sense? So let's jump into questions, because these questions, and this is why I asked you guys all to ask questions before, are going to take us into our next part. Who has questions? This is not part of the plan, guys. We're all supposed to have your hands up. Okay?
Is there a difference between holding someone higher than yourself and holding someone in high esteem? If you care about somebody, I mean, you know, we're social creatures.
Yes.
Am I right? Okay. Because when you asked about the mission, and she gave a great mission, my mission is actually to find myself and find my mission. So, but in that, how is it that you can hold someone high but still maintain a sense of self?
Good question.
Or is there? I mean, you said it's not an either or. Is it a both?
It's a great question, but see, the thing is all you can do is unconditionally love that person, which means that what that person is doing does not take you into a different place of how you feel about yourself. Does that make sense? Means I love this person unconditionally. That means without conditions. But that also means that whatever this person is doing over here does not change my vibration and how I see me. Which means that if I'm in a relationship with someone and they begin to demonstrate that they're not in love with me, that shouldn't change how I see me. Did that answer your question?
Yes, I mean there's a lot more, but I'll talk about it later.
Private session. Anyone else? Yes.
I feel empathy for people very strongly now, more than ever.
Yes.
And it seems to be knocking me out of my
Yes.
self-love.
Like I said, we're all becoming telepathic, and the feelings to be empathetic of who you really are is you're an empath, which means you speak a whole different language than anyone else. And that language is, I know what you need to heal. I know what you need to feel love. So your only job is to not let yourself get knocked down by it, but put on your cape and say, who can I help today? Where can I volunteer? What can I donate? And I'm not talking about going and saving the rainforest. I mean by hugging a friend, by going and planting a tree. These are all the things that we can do every day with our invisible capes. Because you're all superheroes. You've come to save the world. Literally. So as an empath, if you're feeling the need of the planet, it is your job to be of service. The sixth step of manifestation, to manifest anything, is to be of service. Because when you're of service, you're not thinking about what you don't have, are you? You're thinking about what someone else needs. And that shifts your perspective, and it moves you back into alignment of your soul, and everything accelerates. So every single day, how can I create change? How can I be the change that I want to see in this world? That doesn't mean that you need to go do big, great things yet. It means you need to start where you can with what you have and begin building that work. That's part of your purpose. is my purpose is I am an empath. And I know what the planet needs to heal. And the only thing that the planet needs to heal is to remember that you are love. Not that you need love, not that you want love, but you are love. So anytime you are being anything else than love, you are going to feel small and helpless and insignificant. So you have to go back to, I am love. And when I am love, I know what to do. I know what to say. I know where I can help. I know who I can help. And sometimes that person needs to be just you. Your work should be every single day 50% service to others and 50% self-service. Which means 50% of the day I am working on becoming love. And 50% of the day I am spending showing the world how to love. Sounds like a fun day, yes? If you just do this, do you know how fast your life will accelerate? Do you know all the things that you were wanting will just drop into your lap? Because if I spent time working on the demons within me that were telling me that I am not love 50% of my day, and 50% of my day I was actually helping someone else see that they were love, the house I wanted would show up, the money I wanted would show up, the people I needed in my life would show up, and my star family would find me. And guess what? I'm not looking for any of it. Because when you look for something, you can't find it, can you? When you want something, it never shows up, it doesn't. Because you're actually following the ego's perspective of how manifestation works, and it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work in wanting, because the frequency of vibration of wanting is wanting. Needing, the frequency and vibration of needing is needing. So you have to act as if you need and want anything other than healing thyself and healing others. That is your only purpose. That is your mission statement. And however you decide to play that out, that's your unique, not special, purpose in the world. Because we are all one, and as you see the universal mirror of each and every one of us through our own eyes, you begin to understand unity. You get to understand that the perfect person who's suffering next to you, that you're afraid of, is holding some suffering within you. The person that you're inspired by is also a part of you. Okay? So your job is to see the mirror and act accordingly, which means I got really triggered today by so-and-so. Well, what were they doing? Well, they were doing this. Okay, where can I find that within myself? Because the shadows lie in your blind spots. You can't see them. That's why they're projected into other people and places and circumstances and events. And that means your house, that means your car, that means your government, that means your food. If you're afraid of your food, you're afraid of your body. Okay? Because it's all one thing. It's fear and it's love. What road do you want to go? Love is a lot scarier in the beginning, but it's a lot more fun. That means loving people who can't love you. That means loving things that don't appear loving. That means seeing grace in horrible events. And seeing what people do under duress and circumstances, especially light workers and empaths. That's when you really see people put their capes on, don't you? Is when you see someone suffering. But make sure that you are out being of service to those who want to be serviced. Those who want help. Because if you spend your time on trying to help someone who doesn't want help, you will feel like you're failing. You will feel like you're not good enough. So you want to use all of that potential that is within your body and the universal mind to actually help people who are saying, I need help. Because then your life becomes so rewarding. But if you keep trying to love someone and help someone and heal someone that is not asking for help, all you're doing is you're abandoning your own intuition and you're eliminating your ability to move forward. Everyone will awaken. Did you know that 1/4 of this planet is awake now? Doesn't feel like that, right? But can you even go anywhere without people talking about meditation and yoga and oneness and organic food, right? Don't you think that's how it starts? Is it's not all frequency and vibration and enlightenment. Sometimes it's just, I'm going vegan with my family. Sometimes it's, I'm going to start doing yoga because I would like to get a better relationship with this mind and body that I have. So yes, a fourth of the planet is awake, which means that if you are in that higher percentage, your job is to guide those. And then be there for all of the new ones that are going to be waking up, because in the next 20 years, it will be 100% enlightenment. So that means everything's going to be moving really fast. If all you ever did was said, I'm going to live my day in love no matter what's happening, no matter what shows up, no matter what bills I get in the mail, no matter what argument I get into with my spouse, I'm only going to see it love, as love, through love, then that would only be about maybe 3 weeks of testing for you. The universe would be testing you, and your life would totally turn into enlightened situations. If you just saw everything as love, which means the car accident outside of this building, if you saw that as love, and you know how I see that as love? As that everyone involved in that accident is waking up. They're going, whoa, where have I been thinking and believing and feeling? Wow, I need to wake up. You know, every time you stub your toe, your soul is saying, be in the present moment. So everything is a message to wake up. So there's got to be chaos and destruction if we want a rebirth. A seed is totally destroyed before it grows. So if your life has felt like it has been totally destroyed once or twice or 3 times, that just means you're becoming. You're letting go of who you used to be so that you can become who you were born to be. Questions? Yes?
I just seeing everything with love, but also in knowing that in all of every circumstance, that souls chose to be there as well. And acknowledging that and celebrating.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Life should be a celebration every single day. Because, you know, again, this is one big game. And we all have come down to play it out. And so everything that's ever happened to you, you've already pre-programmed into your game. So there are no victims. There are no situations that occur that are really about suffering. You came here to be limited so you could wake up. You came here to be limited so you could love parts about yourself that felt limited, so you could learn what unconditional love looks like. Because unconditional love means love without conditions, which means that there's something you don't like about yourself, you're supposed to love that. You're supposed to fall in love with that and go, I'm on the planet because of this limitation is going to help me see myself in an unconditional loving perspective, and then I can love everyone else in their limitation too. So you're right. We all make the choice before we come down to play this out so that we can remember who we are. Look at that word. Remember. To put back together. So as we remember who we are, we can remind someone else. We can inspire someone else. We can help someone else that wants to be helped. Questions? Susie, anything?
No.
Okay. Katie?
So if in our process we run into somebody who's being negative towards us, so you're going to have 2 reactions. You're either going to get triggered by it or it's not going to affect you. So if it doesn't affect you, you're probably looking at it like that's their problem.
So a situation that's triggering you? Hold on.
Yes.
Okay. Say it in a different way.
So if you have a situation where someone has a problem with you,
Huh?
and what I'm saying is there are 2 ways you can react. You can either it cannot bother you, or you can be triggered by it.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, if you're not bothered by it, you're probably thinking that's their problem. You're not taking it personally. And
Right.
if you're triggered by it, you are. So if you're triggered by it and taking it personally, that's the reflection of you.
Yes.
But if you're not triggered by it,
It's a projection from them.
and and it has really nothing to do.
Well, no, it has everything to do with you because you wouldn't be in that interaction if it didn't have something to do with you. But it doesn't mean that it's for you. It means that you're there to witness it and hold space for that person. Which means sometimes when you're in a situation that used to just trigger you, now just kind of feels like neutral, which means somebody is getting really upset with you maybe, and they're upset but you don't feel that energy anymore, then what your job is to show them that you're not upset. That's a teaching moment for them. Because a projection is all about, let me project what I feel inside about myself that I don't know what to do with. I'm going to put it on you. And a lot of times it becomes your reflection and you become triggered back. So projection, reflection. But if you aren't triggered by that energy, then all you're going to do is have a teaching moment and you're going to go, I'm really sorry you feel that way about me. All I see about you is that I love you. And they're going to go, oh, hold on, I don't know what to do with myself. Go over here and think about this. And they're going to try to get you. Because again, all of a trigger or a projection is ever about is hear me, see me, feel me, love me. And why are you not doing that? And so if you're not bothered by that or triggered by that, all you're saying is I do see you and I do love you and it doesn't hurt me anymore that you think I don't. You see how fast the world would change if we just stopped reacting? If you just saw everyone as a little child that was trying to get attention from you, that means anything that's ever been stolen from you, that was a cry for help. Anytime you ever stole anything, that was a cry for attention. Anything you've ever done that was out of alignment with your soul was just a cry for help. Saying, I don't know who I am because I was taught not to be who I came to be. My intuition got shut down when I was 3, so I'm just trying to figure it out through grand expressions. That's all we are for each other. Is we're all just children who want to be loved. So anything that's happening in the world is just a big tantrum. That's it. And being in Kansas City is very, very ironic because we are the heart center of this country and the heart chakra of this country. And the United States represents the melting pot of the entire world because everyone came here to be free. So in that idea of freedom, we hold a lot of love for the whole country right here in the middle. And that's why we get everyone's weather. We get to everyone's stuff. And July represents the emotional storms. Right? We've been having some crazy storms. It's all emotional storms going on. And how you show up to those emotional storms defines whether you're believing in love or fear right now. That's it. And it's time for you to stop taking everything so personally because everyone on the planet is selfish. They are here for their universe. They are here to create and manifest their desires, hopes, and dreams for themselves. So they're not looking at you as much as you think. They're not judging you as much as you think. You're judging yourself through looking through their eyes. So it's time to give that up too. Does that make sense? Let's go more questions. Come on, guys. Let's do,
Go ahead.
yeah.
Well, I was wondering, so you spoke on it a little bit, if our body feels like it's in a grinder right now, that we're just, it hurts everywhere. And so from what you've said, we know that it's probably stemming from we don't trust ourselves, we don't love our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we go deeper into loving our bodies?
Good question. Good
Let
question.
go of the pain.
Good question. So, if our job is to unconditionally love our bodies, that means to love our pain. What do you think pain is telling you? Pain is a message. So physical pain in the body is I am not allowing source energy to flow through me because I am not allowing myself to be me. So where do you need to let yourself be more you? Okay? So pain is a message that says, I'm blocking universal energy. And when you feel universal energy get blocked, it's like a hose that you try to wash your car and it's twisted and nothing comes out. If you were to be that hose, you would be in excruciating pain. And that's what's happening, is there's somewhere you're cutting yourself off. Probably when you were a little girl, you weren't allowed to be that psychic fairy that you know you are. Right? And this whole life, you've been going, I'm not the fairy, I'm not the psychic, I'm not the psychic. And then you wake up and you go, I might be. But you haven't opened the floodgate yet. You haven't said, I am that psychic fairy, and I love this body, and I love me, and however long it takes for that energy to start moving through me, it's going to heal every cell in my body. Which means when your pain starts to leave your body, you have given yourself permission to be authentic. You have given yourself permission to be you once and for all. So I would look at all of the people in your life that told you you weren't good enough and that you couldn't be you, and I would do some energy work with them and send them off, and then send them a memo energetically that I am the fairy from such and such realm, and this is why I'm on the planet, and here's my mission statement. And you can do that vibrationally. Because all that I'm seeing in your body right now is, when I look at it, is this little girl who just wants to show the world who she is. And you want to scream it from a mountaintop, don't you? And you're stuck in that body, and you feel trapped, right? You just want to stand and say, this is who I am, world, and I can help you. So do that. First do that in your heart, and tell your body who you really are. Because the world is constantly telling you who you are. So you just tell your body, this is who I am, and you do it with so much intention that all of a sudden it starts to spontaneously heal, and your chi starts flowing, and all of a sudden you grow those wings back. Okay? And you need to talk to Kara, because she just got hers last week. Anyone else? Yes?
The matter of intuition, I think that I find it sometimes difficult to know when to act and when to not. And of course, because I think I'm lazy, I prefer not to, because I don't want to take a risk. I mean, in terms of helping someone or saying something, or like, well, you know what, you'll find your way.
Right. To answer your question, when do you actually show up in service physically? Is that what you mean?
No, I think I'm talking, service, I think I view as kind of differently than listening to what your intuition is telling you to do.
Okay. So, like, give me an example of something your intuition would do where you were kind of going back and forth on acting on that.
Well, sometimes, when you're out, you'll see people that obviously have an issue or a problem or something, and you kind of feel like that maybe you should do something or say something.
But you don't want to get your shoes dirty?
Yeah, I don't want to.
I'm totally there with you. Totally there with you.
Well, first of all, there's a risk, because people could, I think that I'm very cautious about offering that kind of service.
Well, you are about 80% non-physical and 20% physical, so you can help them from a non-physical perspective.
Huh.
So what I do a lot of the times is in the dead of winter, when I've got my kids all nestled in the car, and I'm driving down the street and I see someone homeless without a coat, okay? I go into my non-physical magic and I see them wearing a coat, okay? I see them with a home, I see them by a fire, I see them eating food, and I wait till my heart expands. And you know what I just did? Is me having a heart that's telepathic, I just communicated to someone who will do that. We're all connected. I sent my coordinates to someone who isn't scared to go rescue them. That's how it works. And then all of a sudden someone's like, whoa, I really feel inspired to go volunteer today, because they got the signal from you. You don't have to do anything except be love, which means you don't have to get your shoes dirty unless you're like really inspired to get out of your car and go make an effort. You can see inside of their heart from your heart and then command that. And you see how I didn't summons, okay, please someone go help them. I said, I'm seeing them fed and warm and clothed, and then someone else will be inspired to take that role. Because you know when you guys want to manifest something, you're doing that too. I am abundance. You are sending that signal to someone else that says, I need to help them create their abundance. and you get a new partnership, and you get a new manifestation, and you get a new job offer, and all you did was telepathically from your heart send the coordinates to someone who is going to play a character who's going to be part of your show. Does that answer your question?
That's a very good answer.
Thank you. See, this is all simple. We overcomplicate it. Really?
Probably.
Yes.
Along that same line, kind of playing off of what he said, I'm thinking about my dad with his Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
So setting up kind of communication
Yes.
with him in some regard.
Non-physical. You know, I've done the bulk of my healing with my blood family from non-physical reality, which means I didn't make the calls, I didn't write the letters. I sat within my own heart and I had the conversations that I needed to have with them because I knew that telepathically it was going to reach them a lot clearer than if I processed it through physical reality that has an ego attached to it. So about 90% of my healing that I've done with my blood family has come from me just sitting and feeling and healing what I needed to do with that. And it always shows up. It always comes back as if they were on the other line of the telephone. So with Alzheimer's, what does Alzheimer's actually mean in the metaphysical community? It means the long goodbye. Okay? It means that I don't want to leave you, but I'm ready to go. And so you know that now, and so you can sit there and you can tell them it's okay. I'm going to hold space for you. I'm going to love you unconditionally. I'm going to see you. They're also reminding you that the past doesn't matter. That you're not really family as the way you think you are. You are just all one because all of a sudden your mom sees you as a stranger. Oh, hello. I'm like, no, don't you remember all of our stories? And that only hurts your ego. So the long goodbye is more for you than it is for them. Because they've made the choice, but they can't let go because they don't want you to have to be burdened with that quick lesson. Does that make sense? So I would sit in non-physical reality and I would work with them on how you're feeling and letting them go and holding space for them to transition. Okay?
I think we have someone that's in a war zone and they want to know, how do you stay in that high vibration when bombs are going off around them every day?
Okay, so if you close your eyes and you find shelter and you put something in your ears so you cannot hear what's going outside of you, you could be on a beach in about 2 seconds if you go into there in your mind. You can ask your guidance, you can ask your unseen friends to come in and help you feel the vibrations of being where you choose to be instead of where you physically are. And if you held that vibration for as long as you can, something magical would help move you out of that situation. That means if you're in a jail cell, that means if you're in a situation where bombs are going off, and I'm really glad they have Facebook where there's bombs going off. Awesome. That's technology, right? All they need to do is go into their inner world right now, because you know, when I was a little girl and I was in an unsafe situation, I went into my imagination and I was safe. And that's actually what got me out of my unsafe situations. But they cannot focus on the bombs, they cannot focus on the war, because then they will lose who they are in that, because they aren't war and they're not the bombs. They are whoever they say they are, and someone telepathically will make a way for them to move out of that if they believe that that is possible. Okay? Questions? Come on, guys. Two more. Yes?
Well, and it's not really a question, but it may turn into one. I'm ex-military, and one way that I found to reconcile everything that I had to do within that parameter
Yes.
was to know that basically the military started as a peacekeeping entity, particularly the Navy. And so that is what I posted my soul on. I'm just here to keep peace. Spirit will guide me in whatever way I need to keep peace. And then all the other stuff.
So what you're saying is being part of the military, you still found a way to keep your peace, or you understood?
I understood as a spirit, that was what I was to do.
Always.
Was to keep peace, always, but I could do it within the confines of a less than peaceful situation. I constantly reminded myself of
Yes.
that, and telepathically putting that out to where that was the only option with people around me.
Yes.
That's why.
And every heart is telepathically connected to every other heart on the planet. Okay? So it becomes like the 100 monkey effect. Eventually, when you send out enough energy, it starts to ignite those who have a closed heart, and it starts to help them awaken. How do you think that the awakening has happened so fast? It was 2 years ago, it was 1% of the planet. Now it's a fourth of the planet. So you can see that that's happening from the 100 monkey effect, which means as one person says yes, then it gives that space to someone else. When someone has an aha epiphany or does a healing on themselves, it travels to every other heart on the planet. Okay? So Susie and I, Transcendence Wellness Center, is diving down deep into the military to bring healing to our veterans and to our men and women that would like to come home and live regular lives. And so that is very part of our service, is we're bringing meditation and deep PTSD and healing to our veterans. And that's how we feel that we are helping you guys be able to come home and transcend all of those mindsets that you were programmed into and help you become more of who you are. But your time in the military was your first mission statement. Because when you went into the military, you had the intention to be of service, didn't you? And to heal, and to help, and to protect, and to serve. Aren't you doing exactly the same thing now, but you've just graduated into a new mission statement? So that's what I mean about letting go of the past. It's like we've all been in that boot camp of our childhoods, and of school, and of society, and it's taught us patience and limitation, and it's taught us compassion, and now we're ready to take all of that and build our new mission statement of what you're going to do for the rest of your life. And if all you're going to do is love your kitty, or love your baby, then that's your only job, and to do the best of your ability to not be afraid of losing that. Because human love is based in loss. You love something so much you're afraid to lose it. That's human love, that's not real love. Love is unconditional, which means that whether you decide to stay or go, I still love you the same. Okay? Yes, Pepe? Oh, sorry, yes.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm not sure how to phrase this. Let's see. Throughout 2006 and prior, you're talking about this shift, and July's coming, and now it's here, and everything you say, right on. But how do you know this? How do we know what's going on behind the scenes or in the universe that would bring to you this information in July and 5D, and we're all having this increased ability to manifest, which is happening just like you say. But how did you know this?
Well, how do I know this is I go into my higher self, my higher perspective. I go into the quantum field of possibilities and probabilities. And then when I look at the big picture, okay, then I can see how everything is laid out in basically astrology and numerology set for the prophecy of what's occurring right now. 2,000 plus years ago, Jesus said that I am the Son of God, which in Sumerian means I am the extension of God, and you too, right? And so all of the prophecy that was laid out 2,000 plus years ago is unfolding now as the Christ consciousness, which only means unconditional love. That's not religiously tied, okay? That has nothing to do with dogma. It is actually a frequency. It is unconditional love. And for 2012, it was the activation process, which means the planet has been seeded with empaths since the 40s. So in the early 40s, late 30s, a bunch of starseeds, indigos, empaths, decided to incarnate on a dark planet to teach the world how to ascend. And ascend means to go back into light. So since the 40s, it has been activation plus activation plus activation. I mean, look at how old our 40s-somethings were in the 60s. That was the first revolution, right, of love. And as the time has moved on, 2012, right? If you understand astrology, because this is all in the stars and numerology and the Mayan calendar, it was the end of darkness and the birth of light. So 2012 was the birth. That's when everybody started to wake up. If you look at who you were 5 years ago, right, you'll see that there was great shifts going on in your life. And now what's happening is threshold by threshold by threshold by threshold, we are clearing timelines and lifetimes of karma out of this dark planet by loving each other, by figuring out who we were. Last year was the year of dark solitude. We found ourselves last year. This year we're starting to work in communities and as a team. We have to do that from an unconditional place or it won't work. We have to stop supporting the things that we're afraid of. You know, we need to buy the organic food and support the local business if we actually ever want to see changes in the world. We have to actually become grateful for the farmers who are growing the food instead of the machines that are processing it out. We have to feel more gratitude towards going and getting the things that we want instead of just going to your local store and picking it up. And we're learning all of that. Look at how huge the shifts have been with food. Look at how big the shifts have been with education and gender. It's all changing right in front of us, and the prophecies are just month by month by month by month. New energies like waves in the ocean come in to help us move a little bit further and activate us a little bit higher so that we can face the shadows that we have been hiding from our whole lives with love. So July is the threshold of the halfway year of the year that simulates you're allowed to love now. You're allowed to be authentic. And if you're not, it will feel painful. It will feel stressful. But you can't deny that time is speeding up. You can't deny that manifestations are happening faster and that people are becoming psychic and telepathic and vegan overnight. We can't deny any of this. What I do is I just go into a higher state of consciousness. It's like instead of being in a valley, I go on top of the mountain and I look. That's the only difference. And I go and look at collective consciousness and where they are playing out the old stories of the past so we can burn them out. We're burning out all the old stories, which means we're not going to repeat history this time. It's like even when I turned on the news, not turned on the news, but when I was in a salon yesterday and the news was playing, they were talking about that shooting that happened. And actually 4 people were sitting up going, I've never felt so much love in my heart when I went to go help. I felt so much unconditionally loving for the families. And I was hearing all of these voices talk, and I saw all this magic. Instead of looking at what we've lost, I've seen what we've gained. Right? Because think about it, if you lost 10 pounds right now, you would probably gain a lot of confidence unless you were at your ideal weight, wouldn't you? So sometimes loss is not a bad thing. Sometimes in losing something, you gain yourself. Does that make sense? Okay, let's take one more question.
Taking notes here. Expand on the mirrors concept. I wrote down, and from what I heard you say, is mirrors show you how you see yourself.
Yes.
Is this inaccuracy?
That's perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you expand
So every
on that?
single person in this room is a version of you. And if you would spend time getting to know every single person in this room, you would see a piece of yourself in them, both good and bad. Okay? And there's not such thing as good and bad, but the parts of yourself that you're still judging. Okay? So every person is there to teach you. Every interaction is for you somehow. Every single life coaching session I've had for the last 7.5 years, I've walked away and saw something about myself that I needed to learn. Every single time. Because it is the law of mirrors, the law of reflection, and reflection is basically cause and effect. Okay? What you give out is what you get back. So if there's a lot of things that you've given out that you've forgotten you gave out, it will come back to you to remind you. That's it. Okay. So, everyone excited? Come on. Anybody feel like they have a question about where we're heading?
I got a simple question, quick. Coming into this journey, I was kind of an odd duck. and people accepted me. But I'm having the hardest time accepting ducks. So it's frustrating.
And Rex, what is an odd duck?
Well, somebody who really don't fit.
I think you're looking at about 45.
You know, somebody who makes you uncomfortable or whatever.
Okay, so then your job is not to judge them. Your job is to say, what do they have to teach me about myself?
Okay?
That person that you're judging is a reflection of you. Somewhere, some piece of yourself is in that person, and if you're resisting it, it might have been something you pushed away a long time ago, so you're there to see yourself more clearly. And the thing is the things your soul really needs you to see more clearly will be right in your face. You don't have to go looking for them. You'll manifest them, you'll find them in a belief system, you'll find them on the TV, you'll find them in the person sitting next to you. You don't have to go look for your shadows anymore. They're right there. So I would say that needs to be your new spiritual teacher, whoever is triggering you. You need to go spend time with them and love on them. Right? Because all you're going to do is find yourself, Rex. That's it. And it might be a version of you that's not awake yet, or still in pain, or still suffering, or still in denial. That's okay, because that piece needs to be collected and integrated back into yourself. Because basically we're in the process of becoming whole. And in order for us to become whole, we have to find all of our missing pieces. And we're going to find those through each other. Okay? That's why we're of service. Because as we search out and become of service, we find all these lost pieces of ourselves and we integrate them back in and we become one. So, as we become one more, I'm asking you to become one more with yourself this month. Your process will go so much faster, so much cleaner, so much more fun. Because the thing is if all you did for the rest of your life was just laughed and played, money would get spontaneously dropped in your bank account. People would move in and out of your life that didn't need to be there. But you won't let yourself play until you get everything you want. You won't let yourself play until all your work is done. You won't let yourself play until the right people line up. And you know what that is? The vibration of is waiting. And you're going to wait forever. And you're going to stay in that fear-based reality that's moving in the opposite direction because the earth is splitting. Okay? The new earth is 5D, which is unconditional love and manifestation. 3D is separation, segregation, power, and control. So those people who still choose to experience that will morph into that reality and you'll be like, oh, whatever happened to so-and-so? And they'll just be out of your life and they will be coexisting on a third dimensional planet for another 2,000 years so they can learn how to wake up. And those who are choosing unconditional love will go into a world where that is possible. But that means that we have to love the chaos. We have to love the war. We have to love the processed food right out of there. We have to love the disease in our bodies. We have to love each other that triggers us. And we have to love what's broken so that we can rebuild it. Okay? So everything in your life right now that you're resisting, including a family member or your body, your job is just to, for 3 weeks, for the new moon, unconditionally love it. Which means find a way to love the broken parts of yourselves in your lives, and all of a sudden that will transcend back into light, and you will be like on a fast-moving ship. So I'm going to leave you with this. 50% self-service. 50% service to others. I don't care if that means making jewelry and starting a little online business, because art is service. Don't deny your music. Don't deny your art. Don't deny donating things, because this is all service. That doesn't mean that you need to go put a bunch of money into a foundation. That means show up. Show up for someone else 50% of the day. or something else 50% of the day. And by the end of July, you will be on the fast track, which means your dreams are going to start wildly coming true. Everything that you've never thought possible will start falling into your lap. The places, circumstances, people, and event that you've been waiting on your whole life will basically hit you in the head and be like, oh. Because the thing is you're not looking for them. So my advice for July is stop looking for what you want and start being what you want. Become what you want. If you want to be loved, start loving yourself. Okay? And that will bring your life full circle so quickly that August will feel like vacation. It will feel like a passionate experience. It will feel exciting. And the only thing that you have to do is play. We taught Katie that this month, is you play your way to manifestation, right? Every time you go into overthinking mode, stop and go play. And as soon as you go play, all of a sudden when you come back to your service work, it's there. And it becomes so fun. This process was actually supposed to be fun. Don't forget to take your power back. That means when you don't want to do something, stop doing it. If you don't know how to do that, go talk to a 2-year-old. They know exactly how to not do what they don't want to do. And they don't care whether you're judging them. They will say, nope. Spend time with them. They know how to do this. And they really don't care what you think about what they want to do with their lives. So if you've forgotten how to play, go spend time with children and animals. Spend time in nature. Nature is your truth. It is your inner world reflected out. If everything's a mirror, then all of your shadows are hidden in each other, and your heart is reflected in nature. That's how you can find yourself again, is everything that is outside is just a reflection of what's on the inside. So do this practice, and I promise you that by this time next month, because I will tell you that Transcendence is expanding once again, and we are moving to an undisclosed location that we will be letting everyone know when we get the final approval, to basically a 2.5 acre property that is going to be designed for you to come and play. So we will let you know when that all goes down, and possibly next second Sunday we'll be at that location. Because basically what we've decided to do is start playing and start loving our community and open up our doors to bigger opportunities for loving and expansion. And we're going to be bringing our education system for children into that property. And we're going to start guinea pigging it with our own kids. And we're going to be teaching them mindfulness and meditation and frequency and vibration. And you know what? They will never need to learn how to train to do anything. All they need to do is tap into the quantum field and learn anything they want to learn in about 2.5 seconds, because all they're doing is pulling information down. By the time these children are 7, not only will they be musicians, but they will be surgeons if they choose to. Because that's the axis of the quantum field. So this is all coming, and we're going to be able to do all of this in this location. So we hope to see you all next month. We're hoping to be there, but if we're not, we'll be here for 1 more month. And I just want to wish you guys a magical rest of your weekend. And just remember that all you have to do is 50-50 and play. Okay? Thanks for coming, guys.